How to get approved for a mortgage with bad credit. Do you have bad credit? Maybe you have collections, medical bills, repossessions, bankruptcies, late payments, even defaulted student loans. Well, guess what? You can still get approved. I'm going to be talking to top mortgage expert, the Money Lady, and she is going to share with us exactly how you can get approved for a mortgage even if you have terrible credit. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
Okay, so we are here with 𝗡𝗢𝗃 the Money Lady, as she calls herself. She is a complete expert in mortgages, and she's going to be talking about how she's got all these people approved. And I'm going to ask some real tough questions, and we're going to get right into it. So welcome, welcome. Hello, Miss 𝗡𝗢𝗃. How are you?
Hello, Miss Noelle. Hello. Thank you for having me today.
It is so exciting. I'm so happy to be able to finally have reached up to you. It's like I've been reaching out to you, and y'all know you're always so busy. So I got some real tough questions because I have a lot of students and a lot of people that come to me on YouTube, and they don't have the best of credit. And so they are like, how do I get approved for mortgages and get all of these houses and build my wealth the way that you're telling me, Noelle, even with bad credit? So get to it. Let's get right into it. How could somebody get approved for a mortgage with bad credit?
Well, the first thing, Noelle, is they need to call Miss Bailey, the Money Lady, right?
That's right.
You gotta first do that. But one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is because a lot of people come to me with that same situation.
Yeah.
People want to be able to own a home. They want to have a place for their children and their family. And so I want to make sure that we can help them do that, right? Yeah. But a lot of times they have credit challenges, okay? Yeah. That's the first thing that we have to do when you apply for a loan is we have to check the credit, right?
That's right.
So a lot of times people come, they have sub 600 credit scores, right?
Okay, so credit scores below 600.
Below 600 credit scores, okay? I've seen them as low as 500, low as 400, but they want to buy a house, right?
Right.
So my job is to help them do that. Okay, so first step, call the Money Lady, apply for a loan, and then we will help them see where they are with their credit and then give them some options, even if you have sub 600 credit scores.
Okay, so let's dig into this because like I said, less than a 600 credit score. Are we talking about somebody out of bankruptcy, somebody out of foreclosure, collections? Like what can they have or can they not have and still get approved?
So let's talk about what most people have if their credit scores are below 600. First of all, they're going to have probably a defaulted student loan. That's what normally gets people. They're going to have collection accounts, right? That they probably didn't know or forgot about. They're going to have maybe a broken apartment lease, right? That they didn't think it was a big deal when they left the apartment in midnight, right? It comes back to bite them.
Right.
Also, maybe a car repossessed.
That's a big one. So how do you get past these things? Because all of these people are coming to me. They like, I got my car repossessed, so I can't get approved for a mortgage. But what do you know that all these other lenders don't know? Because I know for a fact you've been getting these people approved. So I'm like, tell me the secrets. What are you doing differently, sis?
Well, I think the one thing that I do is I listen. First of all, I listen. I try to figure out, okay, what is the strategy? What do we need to do? Show me what you are paying on, right? So whatever you are paying on, we take a look at that. And then whatever those negatives are, we try to offset those negatives, okay?
Okay.
1 second. I'm sorry. So we try to make sure that we can offset those things. Let's take a repo.
Okay.
If somebody has a repossession on their credit, or a medical bill. Okay, so I'm gonna talk repo and then I'll talk about the medical bill. So if you got a repossession on your credit, and let's say you still owe on the car, when the car came up, you still owe $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, right? I have literally had a lady that had a repo on her credit, okay? The company, the dealership sold the car, right? So they got their money, right? But they stuck it on her credit, so which made her credit scores go down. So basically what we had to do, I said, you know what, call them, okay? Call them. It's been, 2, 3, 4 years. Call them, see if they'll settle with you. She did end up calling. They actually settled with her. They sent her a letter to get it deleted from her credit. And so we were able to get her approved and closed on the loan. So you do have to deal with the situations, okay? Let them linger.
Okay, that's some good advice. And that's a secret that I don't think people realize. Like, you can deal, for every problem, there's a solution. Like, that's how I like to say it.
It's always a solution. You just have to know how to handle it. And that's really the issue. Most people just don't know what to do, right? So they just run and hide. They do. Well, it's going to go away. Well, guess what? When you wake up, it's still going to be there, okay? You're going to have to deal with it someday. The second issue is the medical. So recently, well, not recently, maybe a year or two, they just passed the law where the medical bills cannot be reported to your credit bureaus, okay? So for those of you guys that have old collections, medical bills, doctor bills, all of that stuff can no longer be reported to your bureau. So if you have that, you need to challenge it. Right?
Wow. Okay, wait, you said that fast, but that's a big deal. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And especially if you don't monitor your credit, you probably don't even know you have medical collections on there. But the bureaus are not allowed to put those medical bills on your report. Okay.
Anymore. No more. So that's old stuff. Because that's another thing. People come to me. I have medical collections. I went to the hospital, and that stuff is still on their credit report. But they did good to know.
Yeah. So let's say it's something you got old, medical bill, you come in to try to apply for a loan. Well, we can actually dispute those items, those medical items, and they can take them off, right? Because they're not supposed to be there anyway. So we can get those taken off, after they've applied for a loan. So those are the two things I see most often is, medical bills, car repossessed. Student loans is another one, okay? So for those of you that don't know, you can't get rid of a student loan, okay? You got to pay the government at some point, right?
At some point. So how do we get past those defaulted student loans? How are you getting past it? Because I know you have, and I've seen it.
I have. I mean, almost every credit scenario I've dealt with, right? And so with student loans now, you have to call them, right? You got to renegotiate the student loan, put it in deferment. If it's in default, you got to put it in deferment. And I'll tell you a scenario that I had one time. A couple was trying to buy a house. They had a defaulted student loan. They had went to a credit repair company and they wiped it off their credit. Okay. But what a lot of people don't know is it still doesn't go away because they pull what's called pavers, right?
Yes, that's right.
They pull, if you're trying to get an FHA loan, we have to pull a report from the government, right? That tells us if you got a defaulted student loan. And if you do, guess what? It's going to come up. And you're not going to be able to get a loan. So you have to deal with defaulted student loans. And really it's simple, right? You just call them, make arrangements, start paying, okay? They want you to have 90 days worth of payment history if you just start paying. And then after that, you're able to get approved for a loan.
Easy breezy. Okay, so let's kind of get into that because I think what I'm hearing from you and what I've noticed is people will tell me that they have bad credit and they want to buy a house. And it's like no one's willing to help. Everybody's just like, oh, you got bad credit. They see it, they see the score, and they're just wiping their hands with them. So talk me through that because nobody wants to waste their time to me to.
Absolutely. And so let me tell you what happens quite a bit. So a lot of people go to, let's say they go to a new home subdivision, right? They want to buy a house. It's a lot of people that comes through those new home subdivisions.
That's true.
They go to the mortgage companies, they want to get approved. But what happens is they have so many people, right? So you got a pool of people and most people up here, have the good credit, and then you got people down here that's got sub 600 credit scores. Who you gonna work with? You gonna work with the people up here,
That's
or you
right.
gonna work with the people down here?
That's
Right?
right.
So what happens is the people down here get left, they get pushed aside.
I think that's the answer, man. You said it, like you really nailing it. Like, let's really talk about that for a second, because I think that is probably more than anything, the biggest thing. I've seen people that, yeah, they have a low credit score. They got a few things, but I've seen people with worse situations get approved. And this person just didn't, because they went to the wrong lender. They went to like the wrong person, and it just discourages them. It just kind of beats you down. You get it?
Yeah, it does. It really does. And it's disheartening because that does not allow that family to actually move into a home. Right. When all they needed was somebody to say, okay, let me take a look at your scenario. Let me make these suggestions to you. Do A, B, C, and D. Once you do that, then hey, then we're ready to get you approved for a home. And so that's what we do. We just really take a look at a person's where they are, and we see what the solution needs to be, and then we help them through that process.
Okay. So tell me about this other thing that I've been hearing about, because I've heard this, and I know you're the money lady, so you're gonna be able to tell. What is this thing about where the lender says they can fix the credit score right quick? Like what's that?
So that's a program called the Rapid Rescore program. Okay. And it's a very popular program. We do the Rapid Rescore program. And let me tell you how that came about. So again, when you're dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers, you have people that have credit challenges, right? So what we wanted to do was create a way where we could get their credit scores up in 7 to 10 days, right? So when you have a mortgage pending, there's a system we call it the Rapid Rescore program, where we can literally get your credit rescored in 7 to 10 days, right?
Are you serious? 7 to 10 days?
7 to 10 days. No writing.
I knew about it. I just didn't know it was that quick, that it can even go that fast.
It doesn't take long. Now, you do have to do some work, right? Like if you have a card or like I said, anything on your credit that's derogatory, or you need to pay down something, you have to do the work. So we provide a simulator. I can literally put your credit, your information in a system. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Okay, I need to pay this down. I need to take off this authorized user account. I need to do, so all the things it'll tell you to do. Once you do that, you send us the information. Within 7 to 10 days, all 3 bureaus are updated.
Okay. So this is how you can get a mortgage with bad credit. Okay, so let me tell you, let's talk about this for a second, because some people will say, you know what, forget it. I don't even want to even go through this hassle to get a mortgage. What do you say to those people?
Well, I would say call the money lady, okay? Because you definitely need to have a home, and I'm very passionate about, making sure that people have home, because homes build wealth, right? That's the start of the foundation. And you can leave something to your family. I'll tell you another thing. I actually closed on a gentleman that was 70 years old.
Okay.
Had never bought a house. Wow. And if I tell you, that was the best experience. I mean, had perfect credit.
That is impressive. I bought my first house when I was 23, and people will say that to me. And again, I didn't have the best of credit. I did like a subprime loan, but guess what? At 35, I'm a multimillionaire. So you gotta this is the #1 way to wealth. So don't just, if you got bad credit, there's an answer for that. You still want that asset. Houses, real estate is how you build wealth. So I completely agree with you. It's worth it to me. I think it's worth it. And it's not as hard as you think, it sounds like.
And if you meet with the right people, and the most thing that deters people is fear.
Right.
They don't want to be turned down, or they don't want to be rejected, or they have been rejected before, right? So they don't even want to try. But I encourage you, if you want to own a home, you want your children to have a backyard to play in, go to good schools, apply for a loan. And if you have credit sub 600, give me a call. I'm happy to help you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for this information. I'm going to make sure we get your information below. What else? Before we wrap up, though, just give me one last super secret tip that you have on what you would say to somebody that got bad credit and they want to get approved for a mortgage?
I would say, go find your dream home.
Okay.
Go find your dream home first. Go to some new home communities, look for your dream home, identify it, and decide that's going to be my home one day.
Yeah, I love it. And I would say my piece of advice would be is don't let that stop you. You know what I mean? There are people that have been doing this for years. This is not new. There are all different types of programs where you can have low credit scores. You can have bad credit where they know how to fix your credit now. Technology has helped. So do not get stuck in that mindset, because that is how they keep communities down. But us being fearful and not going for it. So again, thank you so much, Miss 𝗡𝗢𝗃, the money lady. I'll make sure I put your links and stuff in the description box. Thank you for answering all these tough questions, and I'm going to see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Noelle.
Thank you, Val.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that was an amazing interview, and 𝗡𝗢𝗃 shared with us so much great information that I have got to let you know you need to apply today. Use the link below and go to newlending.com. I've literally partnered with 𝗡𝗢𝗃 because I've seen that her company has gotten so many people approved, even if they have bad credit. Go to newlending.com and apply today. That's New Lending, N-U-U, two U's, NUULENDING.com. Newlending.com. Apply today. Get approved. Even if you have bad credit, we can help. We just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, all of the knowledge, and even the funding that you need for your success. This is Noelle. To your success.